Well, good evening and welcome to a special military edition of the Alan Osborne Show. This will be Gump coming to you today. If you're not familiar when you're seeing this for the first time, look, I spent about 35 years in the DOD. I personally know this guy, and I'm dedicating this show to Mr. Morrison, Mr. Fisher, and the plank holders of OSR who are wronged by this guy and his failure to act as a commander. These guys are 40-year employees who can't stand up in the system without being smacked down. So I'll tell their story for them because I know it to be true. Any senior leader in the Air Force or DOD would like to contact me, I can provide you the proof that would show that these people have been treated wrongly and continue to be today. And it's very unlikely that anybody will be held responsible, and the reasons will be as follows. I have much respect if you're watching this as a non-military person. I can say that as a military personnel, I had excellent leaders in the military. In general, they were above and beyond reproach, and they did things no matter whether it was Reagan in office, Clinton in office, it did not matter. They were sworn to defend the Constitution, and I will tell you 99% of them did that. But there is toxic leaders out there. The one I'm going to talk about today has done many great things in his career, but his failures and failure to clear the air and do the right thing and even cover up things just to make himself look good. This is unacceptable if you're a senior leader, and I don't care who it pisses off because it's the truth. And if you're somebody that doesn't like it, that I said it, y'all know how to contact Gump. Just get in touch with him and tell me why you don't. And without further ado, and very much respect to all the brothers and sisters that served with me in the military. I respect all you past, present, and future warriors that will keep this country from crumbling to the politicians. But today's edition goes, and the jackass of the month for a military person goes to this leader right here, General Slife. General Slife, have a Slife. I've known this man a long time. He's done a lot of good things. He's a smart dude, but evidently he doesn't know how to tell the truth. And he's decided to play God at the truth at other people's expenses. I know my picture ain't the greatest on this today, but I wanted his face to be clear of who I'm talking to. I would tell him to his face, but I know he won't do that. He won't respond because he hasn't. I'll tell you why. The people I'm defending today are civilians, and where they serve at Hurlburt Field and under this command, if somebody has a complaint, it will take an average of 8 years to see it from complaint to completion. And that's their own statistics, not Allen's. That's what was briefed in 2019, 2020 at open briefings about inspections programs. Now, active military, they don't get that. Now, you think about this. The average enlistment for most kids is about 6 years. That means a kid could join the military, do something to a civilian, be out before anybody decided if he did that. And here's what Slife did. A civilian was punished. Not that civilians can't be punished, and this civilian didn't deserve to be punished for something, but this civilian was punished for a certain act. But the act that he was punished for is not why he was punished. He didn't do that act, but the guy knew he couldn't punish him for what he wanted to, so he punished him for something he didn't do. And he admitted it in a sworn deposition and then went to a military court system and lied about it. Committed perjury. Now, here's where this man comes in. This is Lieutenant General General Slife, Slife the Knife. That's how a lot of us know him, because you always knew if you got on the wrong side of Slife, that you get a half Slife or a quarter Slife until you got back on the right side. But evidently these people, he thought they needed a full Slife slice, and he gave it to them. He ignored 40-year employees and ruined the work environment as a commander when he knew wrongdoing was going on. Information was presented to General Slife back in 2019 that Colonel James Mott, one of his operational group commanders, it was referred to him and it was requested to be put before him. His own sworn deposition proved that Mott had committed perjury. And this man behind us had to decide whether to keep him and face the music or let him go. And he let him go. That was his choice, even though he possessed these sworn depositions of what had actually happened. He chose to take no action. Fast forward, the civilian leaves. He doesn't like the atmosphere down there. The civilians who've done nothing, Mr. Morrison and Mr. Fisher and the other plank holders of this unit, began to be put under intense scrutiny because he wants to eradicate the people that caught the colonel's line, because an 06 can't be wrong. You see, in the Air Force, very senior leaders are almost never prosecuted for what they've done unless it's so egregious they can't get out of it. In fact, it made news recently that this general, a general now, groped a woman while he was a general. I'll say not, says you. Says yes, said she. And she was willing to testify, and they cornered senior leadership to hold him responsible. Now, during an investigation, and it's pending right now, General Slife was clearly caught lying. He said he knew nothing of a situation, and when the situation involved Colonel Mott, and he was the one-stop shopping for allowing him to separate and retire. And secondly, he said he was unaware of all of it, yet the evidence showed a text saying that Slife had been aware, was now well aware, and he was going to be involved in it. How come generals don't have to tell the truth? That's right, Jim. I'm talking to you because I knew you when your name was Jim. And it still is to me because I'm retired. But I'll stand up for these guys because that's a bunch of bullshit. And senior leaders, if you think you're going to have great civilians in your system, when they have a system that allows people to walk away and never be held responsible, while they're not allowed to have unions and they're not allowed to have representation, those are 40-year DOD civilians, and this guy turned their back on them as their leader. It deserves an investigation. It deserves to be held true. How did a guy with 2 DWIs, how did his private business partner sit on his hiring board, Jim, and then put a guy with 2 DWIs in that place? How did the guy with a perfect record not get the job? And why was one command-directed inspection being run on the surface while a silent one was being run on the issues they hoped to find? Those are questions that this man can't answer. And I would hope somebody in senior leadership would hold him responsible. I believe that special tactics crap. I've seen some stuff. This sculpting of attitudes instead of just allegiance to the Constitution and the ability to not admit the truth will destroy the military. And that's just what an old retired guy thinks. And my hat's off to you guys, Fisher, Morrison, plank holders, and men of OSR who did such a fine job for years. You were the heartbeat of safety for people. You were the standard, just like in the letters behind me in the STS. And you guys out in the STS, we used to hold our standards too, but evidently he doesn't think we're worth it. And that's how it is with Gump on the Alan Osborne Show. Salute to all you people doing the right thing. And I hope somebody will hold this man responsible for what he has been doing. And that's Gump on the Alan Osborne Show.